Hi, welcome back. We're reading through the Bible, and right now we're in Proverbs chapter 21. I read from the New King James translation, but I'd love to hear which translation you've landed on, and if you read from just that one or others also. Drop a comment below and let me know. Okay, chapter 21 is pretty short, so I'm going to trade out this Bible for the study Bible, the John MacArthur Study Bible. I'll link it below if you decide to get one. So we'll have a little bit of time to look through the study notes. Okay, Proverbs 21. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. Like the rivers of water, he turns it wherever he wishes. He turns it. Note the examples of the divine hand of God in the cases of Artaxerxes, Tiglath-Pileser, Cyrus, Nebuchadnezzar, and Belshazzar. Again, guys, if there's ever names in the Bible that you're not confident on, just give them a nickname or shorten it, and then go back and learn how to say it. Don't get hung up on it when you're reading it out loud or in your head. Okay, verse 2. Every way of a man is right in his own eyes, but the Lord weighs the hearts. Do we have anything on that? Nope, not yet. To do righteousness and justice is more acceptable to the Lord than sacrifice. You could highlight that one. That one's a pretty good one. And also verse 2, every way of a man is right in his own eyes, but the Lord weighs the hearts. That's super interesting because everybody wants to do what feels good and what feels right to them. But if you're a Christian and you follow the Lord, your compass is his truth, not your feelings. Eventually your feelings will align with his, maybe not perfectly every time because we live in a fallen, sinful world, but that will be your heart's desire. Okay, verse 4. A haughty look, a proud heart, and the plowing of the wicked are sin. Plowing says this is best understood as the lamp of the wicked. Lamp being used as a symbol for the eyes, which conveys their pride. So if your eyes go out, it's lights out, right? So I can see why that is why it's a symbol for eyes. Verse 5. The plans of the diligent lead surely to plenty, but those of everyone who is hasty surely to poverty. These verses address the evils of ill-gotten gain. They show three major defects in the way this gain is required. 1 is hastily, 2 deceitfully, and 3 violently. So those are verses 5 through 7. And I'll read them with that context in mind. The plans of the diligent lead surely to plenty, but those of everyone who is hasty surely to poverty. Verse 6, getting treasures by a lying tongue is the fleeting fantasy of those who seek death. And verse 7, the violence of the wicked will destroy them because they refuse to do justice. Okay, verse 8. The way of a guilty man is perverse, but as for the pure, his work is right. Verse 9, better to dwell in a corner of a housetop than in a house shared with a contentious woman. And there is a note on that, corner of a housetop. Since roofs were open like patios, a small arbor or enclosure in the corner of a flat roof was a very inconvenient place to live. So a teeny tiny inconvenient place to live in the corner of a housetop is better than a house shared with a contentious woman. True? Okay. Verse 10. The soul of the wicked desires evil. His neighbor finds no favor in his eyes. And the study note says, so strongly does he seek to do evil that he will not even spare his neighbor if he gets in his way. Yikes, right? Okay, verse 11. When the scoffer is punished, the simple is made wise. But when the wise is instructed, he receives knowledge. Verse 12, the righteous God wisely considers the house of the wicked, overthrowing the wicked for their wickedness. I'm looking to see if there's any notes. Okay, verse 13, whoever shuts his ears to the cry of the poor will also cry himself and not be heard. Ooh, so if you have the opportunity to help the poor, truly the poor, but if you shut your ears to the cry of the poor, you will also cry and not be heard. Okay, verse 14, a gift in secret pacifies anger, and a bribe behind the back, strong wrath. And are there any notes? Not yet. Okay. It is a joy for the just to do justice, but destruction will come to the workers of iniquity. Verse 16, a man who wanders from the way of understanding will rest in the assembly of the dead. This is proven in the account of the simple man who was seduced in other verses that he has listed in here. Okay, verse 17. He who loves pleasure will be a poor man. He who loves wine and oil will not be rich. Sounds like spending money on frivolous things will make you not rich. Okay, verse 18. The wicked shall be a ransom for the righteous, and the unfaithful for the upright. Let's see if there's any notes. Yes, by suffering the very thing they had devised for the righteous or brought on them, the wicked became their ransom in the sense of being a substitute in judgment. Verse 19, better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and angry woman. Yeah. Do you ever watch Bear Grylls when he just gets helicopter dropped out into the middle of the wilderness? Better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and angry woman. The wilderness is pretty rough. Okay, verse 20. There is a desirable treasure and oil in the dwelling of the wise, but a foolish man squanders it. No notes on that one. Verse 21. He who follows righteousness and mercy finds life, righteousness, and honor. The notes on that says, those who pursue righteousness and mercy receive more than they seek. That's interesting. Verse 22, a wise man scales the city of the mighty and brings down the trusted stronghold. And the note says, wisdom is better than strength. Verse 23, whoever guards his mouth and tongue keeps his soul from troubles. A proud and haughty man, scoffer is his name. He acts with arrogant pride. Verse 25, the desire of the lazy man kills him, for his hands refuse to labor. He covets greedily all day, but the righteous gives and does not spare. The notes on 26 says the sin of covetousness marks the lazy man as the virtue of benevolence marks the righteous. As the virtue of benevolence marks righteous. And let's see here. Okay, verse 27. The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination. How much more when he brings it with wicked intent? A false witness shall perish, but the man who hears him will speak endlessly. A wicked man hardens his face, but as for the upright, he establishes his way. There is no wisdom or understanding or counsel against the Lord. Are there any notes on that? Nope, not yet. Okay, and the horse is prepared for the day of battle, but deliverance is of the Lord. There is a note for verse 31. It says, this is not a condemnation of adequate preparation. It's good to prepare, but rather of reliance on it for victory instead of on the Lord. Rely on the Lord even if you're super prepared. If you are thinking your ways of preparation are going to get you there, that becomes an idol. So this is saying rely on the Lord first. And that is Proverbs chapter 21. And I know I took a little extra time reading the study notes, but how did you do? Did you read it out loud? Which verses stood out to you? Did you highlight anything? I will always link the Silky Smooth highlighters in the description below. And I will see you tomorrow for Proverbs chapter 22.